Hi everybody, this is Manuel and welcome to another Luminar video. So this is a very basic video dedicated to my Mac Photos user out there that subscribe to my channels and my mailing list. I would like to show you guys how easy it is to use Luminar from Photos. So to get started, I'm just going to go to the extensions and I will click on Luminar. So what's going to happen here is Luminar will open and then Photos will send this image to Luminar. So this is a very basic video. I have done some more advanced editing video with Luminar, so I just want to answer a few questions I had about Luminar, and especially if it was a good investment. And people were asking, why should we buy Luminar? Because we already have Photos. There's so much editing we can do in there, and we have a few extra plugins and so forth, right? Well, Luminar have a lot of different options, and I just want to point out that the algorithm in this software is fantastic. So I'll show you different things here, but there's lots and lots of options, different filters you can apply, and just that alone is fantastic. But then you have a clone stamp tool and a denoise tool as well, which that alone worth the $100. Okay, so this is what you have when you open Luminar. So I just want to show you guys quickly here. At the bottom, you have your presets. So your main image is here in the middle, right? So then you go around and there's a few options. If you don't like them too much, you can click on the last one here that says basic, and that will open a few more folders of presets. So if you choose the outdoor, for example, then you'll see you have more options that just came up now. So let's say you want to try the daydreams because you think it looks good, and then right off the bat you press on it, and then you have that effect applied to your image. You can change the amount if you think it's too much or too little, and then that's pretty much how the preset work. Now if you don't like that preset and you want to try another one, you can click on another one. It's not a problem. We can try a few more like this, and you can go back and forth between presets. But if you don't want that, and if you want to build from scratch, you can also do that. So before we go into this, I'm just going to go through that little lighter gray bar in the top here. So you get the zoom button if you want to zoom there, zoom out, or straight out at 100%. You get the before and the after. That's what the eye does. Or that one there's a split screen. You can see the before and after. I really like that feature, by the way. Then you have the undo button here, and then you have your history. The history, it's fantastic. Then you can choose and see what you've done, and then you can go back to your original photo if you want. There's another way to change the presets. So if you keep rolling on this gray bar here, you have these four little orange icon. So that's basically to remove things from that right part of your image. So the histogram, we won't really need that. We'll take that away. The layers, just by the way, layer 0 is your image. That's what that layer is. But we won't talk too much about layers in this video. I have done more advanced tutorials about it if you guys are interested. But we're going to keep our filter panel there. So this one is to get the presets there or not, and that's to get the bar, everything. And then you have your tools on the right side, right? And then the tools, I won't talk too much about them, but I'll make a little segment about the clone stamp and the denoise in a minute. So the filters, that's really what I want to get at here. So the filters is very important to understand this part of it. So you have your workspace. If you click on this, and we're going to clear a workspace. By doing that, we got rid of our effect from the preset. If I were to take another preset, now look at your workspace. Boom, there's a lot of different things that just show up there. A lot of filters that just appear. So again, if you want to get rid of everything, you press clear. Now what you can do, instead of choosing a preset, it's coming here, clear your preset, your workspace, and then go to add filters. And this is where it really makes sense. Where you look at this, there is a lot of different options here. And then different options is going to be overwhelming at first, but I really like what MacFun did here. There's a before and an after, basically telling you a little bit visually what that specific filter is going to do, plus a little description, right? So if I go and choose, let's say, a polarized filter for this image, I click on this. Now you see the polarized filter got added to my workspace. The amount always come at 0, so you always have to change the amount of this filter to see what it does. So what I normally do is I go way to 100% to 0, and I really play with my slider bar to see what the effect is, and then I choose whatever I think look good, somewhere around there. So if you want to, you can add another filter to this. I don't know, let's try a Orton effect. Again, you can change the amount of that. There's different type if you want. Try the type 2, and then I think the type 1 was probably best. And then there's a lot of different things you can change as well, contrast, saturation, and so forth. Let's say you don't like that Orton effect. How do you get rid of it? Well, you come here to the little X mark, or you can reset everything inside, or you can get rid of it altogether. You can go to add filters, and then you can try something else like the golden hour if you want to. And then by doing that, you can try and build on filters upon filters upon filters. Then you can try a vignette if that's what you're looking for. And let's say you're happy with your photos, or let's say you're happy with this workspace. This is what you want to do in the future. You like these specific filters for image. Well, you come here to custom, save as new workspace. I've done my own. I've done one that's called coloring and one's called sharpening. Let me show you that. Coloring is what I use. As soon as I switch my workspace, my image come back to the original, by the way. So basically, this is what I normally use when I do some coloring in different images. So I chose all of my filters and I saved it. So whenever I want to do coloring, I just use my workspace, my coloring one, or my sharpening if I want to sharpen, and this is very handy and very quick. But in this case, we can go into black and white, landscape, portrait, streets. Those are the 4 little preset that comes with Luminar as a default. If you want to, you can try that because we're working on the landscape. Those are the relevant landscape. See, I find my polarized filter right in there. I can go back to where I was. Clarity if I want to, or whatever it is, right? So that's what basically Luminar decided that this is what probably people will need. So see, I get my vignette, my polarized, clarity, exposure, if I want it a little brighter, a little darker, whatever it is, right? So basically, this is it. You get your filters, your workspace, and all of these effects. Or you can go with automatic stuff, choose the one presets if you want to, try what it does. If you don't like it, switch to something else, switch to maybe dramatic, try a different package of presets, and then they'll get different thing. And you can try the dramatic, grungy. If it's too much for you, tone it down, and then you have whatever you got there, right? So what I want to show you now is the denoise effect, and that is something for me is just fantastic. I did not have a very good denoise to work with photos. I tried a few ones that are free from the App Store, but this, I will tell you, beat everything it could find free or for a small amount of money on the App Store from a long shot. So see the difference here? We have a lot of grain to a little bit of grain. Then you can change the strength to this to moderate. So every time you change, your image will process. And then look at that difference now. We got rid of all those grains. And then we can go like so much more. There's like so much more options, right? So we're going to apply this. And then this will take a few minutes. So I'll pause and then I'll come back whenever it's done. Okay, so we're back. We're back after the denoising. So if you want to see the before where we start to now, big difference. Now, if you take a look, our filter is all gone. So what happened here, if I were to put my layers back, Luminar created another layer for the denoise. So basically, if I were to go back to layer 0 will have all these on it. But because we are using another layer, the workspace is cleared. So just to let you know, there is more to it into the layers than what I'm just telling you here. But for to take it very easy right now, I just gonna leave it as that. And then I want to show you the clone stamp tool, which is the other big thing about Luminar that you guys should be very excited about. Every Photos user You know, unless you bought another plugin. I know MacFun had other type of software to do that, but now it's all in one. This is fantastic. So when you do some clone stamp tool, just change your opacity to 100%. I'm going to change my brush size to mix my dust spot, and then now I'm going to put my softness around 50%. And then they ask you to click to set the source. So my little dark circle with a plus in the middle, I'm going to click right here close to my dust spot. What that's going to do is it's going to sample in that circle, and it's going to clone it into my brush. So now this circle is following my brush. So if I were to go around and take a look now, if I were to try to replace a spot here, I'm choosing the mountain instead. So I don't know if you understand what the cloning part is. So that dark spot is taking part of the image and it's going to put it where my brush is. So that's the whole purpose of that. So if I were to Option Alt, hold it down, and then you can sample for everywhere else if you want. If you want to get rid of this little white blue spot there, I can click next to it and then use my brush, and then here we go, it is gone. So I'm going to apply, and this is amazing. The clone stamp tool is a feature we had in Photoshop, and I'm so glad to see that in Luminar. This is great. So this is it, guys. Hopefully that answered a lot of questions you had about Luminar. It is very easy to change the look of your image. Lots of good filters, really. Again, like, it's very advanced filters and they work great. So whenever you're done with your photo, you press Save Changes, and then Luminar will process all the change we made here. We'll merge all those things together, and then we'll send a single image to Photos. And Luminar will be basically shutting down. So once again, for $100 Canadian right now, it is a fantastic purchase for anybody using Photos. So here we are, we're back. We're going to press done, and then we can go back to our main library here. So that's what we've done with Luminar, and that's our before. So see, it was very simple. So a lot of things you guys can do, and I hope you guys get your hand on a trial version or buy that full version, because it's just fantastic. I have more advanced videos on how you can edit, replace sky, about the layers and the filters. So if you're interested, watch those. And again, this is a great tool to learn advanced editing skills. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.